how do you become a prolific writer like you? Like, how do you keep it going? What motivates you to write, the 40th book? So
So
tell me.
I have three ideas about that
Mhm,
because I've coached over 300 books from other people in publication, and I paid attention to what worked for me.
mhm,
So my first book took 3 years, blood on the keyboard. I hated every minute of it. I loved when it was done, but I did not like writing it
mm,
because I wasn't a natural writer. So the second book took 9 months. I thought, well, what was the difference between those two? The first book, I was trying to work out what I wanted to write while I was writing it. The second book actually came from a workshop I'd done on Milton Erickson's, where it was called Taproots, was the name of the book. And I had done the workshop probably 40 times.
mhm,
And so it had a really clear outline. I had examples that I knew I wanted to put in the book. And when I sat down to write, even though I wasn't a good writer at the time, and it was hard for me to write, and I would rather talk than write, I sat down and it was a lot faster. And then I started to, it didn't come to me right away because it took me a few books. I would write a book and I would be working out what I was trying to write while I was writing it. Those books would take much longer. So that's my first principle. Think about the book and make a really clear title, subtitle, and outline before you write the book. And once you've got that clear, the book writing goes faster and it's easier in my experience. The second thing is don't write a book unless you have to. And that, what I mean by that is, I think there are four energies in life that give us the fuel to do whatever, you to do your coaching and interviews and whatever else you do, me to do my music or write books or become a speaker or become a therapist. And these four energies are blissed, blessed, pissed, and dissed. So let's just go through these really quick. And you can have some combination of them. Blissed is what do you love? There are some things you just love. When I met Milton Erickson, I could not stop reading about him. When I came across psychotherapy, I was fascinated by it. I just couldn't get enough of it. Music. I love music. It is just a joy for me, and I'll do it. They don't have to pay me. I'll do it no matter what. So, what are you blissed about? That's the easiest one, but a lot of people don't know what they love. So, second one is blessed. You find somebody who becomes your role model, your mentor, your guide, who says, Angelos, you are really good at working with people. You should become a coach. Somebody saw something in you and encouraged it in you. It might be a parent, might be a friend, might be a teacher, might be a mentor, might even be a role model you've never met, but you just saw, wow, I love that person is a great coach. I love watching their stuff on YouTube. I want to become a coach. So blessed is the second one. You're blessed with a talent or somebody who sees something in you and encourages it or shows you a role model or a possibility. So
mm,
blissed, blessed. The third one is pissed. That's what got me to write books and it's what got me to become a speaker. I was pissed. I was upset, angry about what was going on in psychotherapy. It was all focused on what was wrong with people, their deficits, their pathology, their diagnoses. And I was like, if when I was depressed, if I'd gone to I didn't go to a therapist because I couldn't even get it together to go to a therapist. But if I had, I might have killed myself if somebody just focused on what was wrong with me, talked
mm,
about my terrible childhood, talked about my traumas. I was already focused on all that bad stuff when I was depressed. I needed hope and I needed possibility. So I was pissed and I thought people are coming into therapists and they're spending 2 years going over their childhood traumas when actually what they need is some hope and some strategies to get to where they want to go. And I was just mad. And so, because I was so mad, I became a speaker because I was passionate about what I was taught, the bliss part. And I
mm,
was pissed and I wanted to change my field. And I wrote books out of that same passion. So, and then dist is where have you been disrespected or wounded or hurt that sensitized you? When I was younger, I was sexually molested. And so I was always sensitive to pain. I came from a really big family, and most of them were really tough and high functioning. I was a sensitive one, and I became a therapist because I was so sensitive to other people's pain.
Mm.
And that became an asset to me. I could empathize with people. I could be compassionate. I was really curious on how do people move past their childhood traumas and wounds and thrive and have a really good life. And so blissed, blessed, pissed, and dissed. One of those or a combination of those energies has to be strong enough to get you to write a book, even if you're not a natural writer or a good writer. So tap into those energies and don't write the book unless you feel so passionate. You need to get this stuff out in the world. And for me, you know, the passion has changed. The last three books I've written have been about songwriting because it's a
Yeah.
new passion of mine. It's a bliss for me. And I also think there are not many good books about some of the topics I've been writing about in songwriting. So that's the second thing. I think first, have a clear idea what the book is about. Get so clear on it before you start writing. The second thing is tap into your energy and keep that energy going through the writing of the book because your energy is going to flag at times. It's going to go down. After publication, to get the book out in the world, you're going to need energy. And the third thing is what I heard one time I thought was really right. And that is, I was reading an interview with his writer named Bryce Courtney, and he wrote a book called The Power of One. He didn't start writing books till he was 50 years old. And he'd written about 12 books by the time he was in his early 60s. Someone said, "How can you be so prolific?" And he said, "I have one secret." So, I'm ready to pay attention. What's his secret? He said, "Bum glue. I glue my bum to the chair and I write. I just I just glue my bum to the chair and I write." And I thought, that is really right because I almost never in my life have I felt like sitting down and writing. And so, being a therapist, I love to say this to people. Once you figure out what you're going to do, ignore your feelings. The feelings of fear and procrastination and
Yeah.
laziness, all that stuff. You can still tap into your feelings of joy and energy and all this stuff. But any of those things that tell you, oh, I'm too busy today, I'm tired, I don't feel inspired, big deal. Sit your butt down on the chair and start typing. And after you get into it, you'll start to feel like it. So you don't have to let your feelings run the show when you've got a task to do, when you've got a goal. Acknowledge your feelings and then sit and write. That's it. Those are my three hints for
I
how to
like.
write a book and how to write more than one book, actually.
Well, and that's again like you acknowledge. It's again like it's that balance, right? You acknowledge. Okay, I know you're here. Procrastination. I know you want to go out and have an ice cream now, but let's do some writing. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it. And again, it's that balance.
Yeah, of acknowledging the feeling of not wanting to do it and then sitting down and doing it. And again, sometimes I tell people if you can only do it for 5 minutes, do it for 5 minutes. As long as you do it 5 minutes a day, by the end of the year, you'll have most of your book done.